Okay, rave here. This is what we're talking about, what we're doing. I just took a photo. Actually, it was a photo. It turned out to be a movie. Actually, this lightning is great. If I just go around, turning around, I see some great movies where, like in The Matrix. I mean, that was like great. We was talking about all this really cool stuff, and it's like, he's, I mean, and it's like the nucleus, and it's like a real heavy concept, and you got this whole thing going on, with this whole atmosphere in the background, and he's really talking about some real heavy concepts here. You don't believe that, that everything is actually really a network of some sort of a controlled substance, and that you're not even really who you really think you are. But there's a whole bunch of stuff. It's a residual identity. Residual identity. You get a residual check in the mail for that? I'd love to be glad to be paid to be somebody else. I wonder how that works. I was kind of wondering what vampires do after they've lived for hundreds and thousands of years, and they keep hiding, and they keep pulling them back out of the coffin again, and Dracula lives, and he's got a whole hive of vampires that got exterminated. It's what do they call it? Not an infatuation, but they call it a, well, what do you usually exterminate? When they're really, really bad? An infestation of vampires. I wonder where all those other vampires came. They only resurrected Dracula, and I wonder why it always has to be Dracula. But that was the thing, because I was telling my buddy that there was this bartender. Well, my dad and my uncle took me to this place. And he's a real nice guy. They told me he's a real nice guy. And I didn't have any fears or anything. I thought it was actually really cool, but he was a split image of Bela Lugosi. And there was another guy, he was like a Vincent Price. What Vincent Price looked like, unless it was Vincent Price. I don't know if Vincent Price lives in Santa Monica, somewhere downtown Santa Monica, and hangs out in Santa Monica Mall. I know, the Muktananda yoga ashram, yoga center is over by there, and every time I go there, I had some very nice, unique spiritual experiences when they chanted their mantras, and I didn't mind that. I thought that was nice. They had the big murtis. I don't know too much about Muktananda, but what I do understand is that he did not speak English and he had a translator, and he has these little boxes with these little cards, and he pulled these little cards out. And from what I've experienced, from what I've heard from the few individuals that told me about these boxes and these cards, and he read some characteristics regarding for the guests that the person's brought along with them. And Muktananda pulled out the card and was for the guest, and the guest would say, that's like right on. That's absolutely me. How did they know? How did he know? So that's like some pretty cool stuff. So anyways, I was saying, well, this guy looks like the devil. He goes, well, how do you know what the devil looks like? And so it must be that after I was thinking about that it's the way that we perceive in theater what would be a negative form, such as the devil. And usually it's pretty an established thing, and some of them are really pretty classy. And I like them on the 50s, 50s rockabilly kind of things with the dice and stuff like that. These old rocker images of the devil from the 50s, like in the Twilight Zone with William Shatner. There was the one on the table with that jukebox thing going on. And, it kind of looks kind of cheesy. And the one where he let him out. He was telling this guest in this castle who was staying overnight to get out of a storm, and they told him there that he can only spend the night, and he had to leave in the morning and to not get involved. And he kept hearing some howling, and he found a guy in a cell imprisoned, and he was telling him that he was being held captive. So he let him out, and as he's passing from pillar to pillar, he's transforming. The horns. The horns got a little longer. The mustache, the little beard, the debonair haircut. The cape. The big giant fierce Nehru color thing in the back. It's like. I wonder what you call those. French collars. I remember I used to have some shirts that had that French cut in the front. Motorcycle jackets have this, and I think that's really classy. I had something that's from the 50s, you know, and it was a dark burgundy, and it had a black like pinstripes that kind of like on the seams, and it actually had padded shoulders, and it was from France. Now I bought in downtown LA. The garment district is a great place to go shop, to get clothes, get some really good stuff, at really good prices. Something like this probably would have cost a lot of money if you tried to find it someplace else. And I just love that shirt. I wore it to death. I wore it forever and ever. Yeah, I had it for a long time. I just love that shirt. I even like to wear that with my leather jacket that also had the French cut in front. So yeah, this is my sombrero. My sombrero. The fish. We have the video of the fish. Okay, what have we got? The Easter basket. Can you see this under the lights? Okay. But anyways, yeah, we got the lights going. I'm going to turn this on. I want to talk about a few things. This place is materializing. I really like what I've got going on here. We're doing a Ram Dass weekly. Let's see where something like. We're doing a Ram Dass weekly yoga meditation series this week. This is the second week, and you know, I actually have I have to listen to this week's meditation series MP3s. I'm pretty much attached to Ram Dass. When I first joined Krishna Consciousness, and Dhanavir Maharaj was in my Brahminical initiator, and I was in Dhanavir's Bhakta program, your introduction training to Krishna consciousness. You know, involves some voluntary tapasya. Something about that lighting. Maybe I'll hold it up. This for something. So anyways, so this is what I want to do when we actually really do our webcast. There's going to be a video conference. There'll be a video conference with either Ram Dass or with one of the staff. So there we go. So anyways, this is the way I would like to perceive myself. That's why I went ahead and printed out a print of Neem Karoli. You know, there's a lot of focusing on the guru. But what we're really talking about, like what we were saying before, no man or no being spiritual material is actually really seeing God. That is a very, very confidential thing. Once Krishna and Radharani actually go into private, no one knows. It is so confidential that no one knows their actual activities. Now it is described that Krishna was one, and he became two. Krishna and Radha. Now Radha, she actually translates to be the word worship. She awards devotional service to the devotee. She introduces the devotee, the sadhaka, the bhakta, to Krishna. Of course, Krishna knows all the living entities, which there are innumerable. This is one of the drawings of Krishna. I want to go ahead and finish that. It's going to be fun. I started this when I was on Woodland, when I was living with Peter. Peter's passed away. He had some really serious health issues, a very serious alcoholic, and he had some real big problems. Everything got escalated when he got a back injury, and internal organs were fused together, you know, regarding his intestines and things like that. So a hard injection at 20%. So anyways, I started this, and last time I was living with Peter, that was in 2009. So what I put on here, 2009, yeah. February 09, and I put Lochan Dave, and I pulled out my ink pens, calligraphy pens, so that I can actually make that look like a spiritual Sanskrit type of lettering for the signature on that. So anyways, yeah, I've been taking some time on that, been deciding on a lot of things, and materialized as colored pencils. Maybe I should stick with colored pencils and markers and stay away from the paint, because it kind of looks like that when I zoom in on things, that there might be something going on, maybe something with the physics, the metaphysics, something that Albert Einstein didn't want to admit, but that what was it? That they cannot consciously observe their experiments in metaphysics regarding the quantum physics whenever they start to manipulate the matter, because the consciousness factor actually has a large role in the quantum physics and the specific mechanics of the universe, and that the outcomes changed. And they don't receive any results at all, because what they said witnesses is that it resets itself to zero. So whatever's done within quantum physics has to be done without any observation. But then after it's finished, then go ahead and observe and verify and manipulate and so forth. So something tells me that that might be actually what's happening with my brush. Or something similar to that. I was noticing before, these are just brush strokes. I'm just blending my paints, and the forms are coming forward. You know, if you look at the Electric Lady, I did all the background first, but there was an image there, a silhouette, but it really looked three-dimensional, as if the Electric Lady was actually coming out. So here I got a print of the Electric Lady here 20 years ago today. Da-da-da-da-da. Have you ever been to Electric Ladyland? Well, I have. Are you experienced? Well, what is this? Oh, I see, Mr. Hendricks. I see that you are experienced. Tell us about yourself. Who would ask Jimi Hendrix, tell us about yourself? What would you say? Well, they're not asking about you personally, but they're asking about you professionally. So if he's a professional musician and he's applying for a gig as a musician, then that's what you want to talk about. If he's a musician, he's doing artwork, then he's probably going to want to talk about his artwork. If he's speaking to an art director. If someone like me, if I'm going into the call center, I'd want to talk about my experience and achievements in call center and customer service interactivity and customer delight and repeat business. So anyways, this place is, well, the reason why I really want to get on here and what the actual real statement was is that I wanted to make was that, you know, I've been unpacking stuff, getting stuff out, using it. You know, there are many videos, you know, where I'm in my room playing the Star Spangled Banner in a very amateurish way, as if Uncle Sam was kind of just letting his heart pour out in the best way he could, and just this little simple little way, you know. But it was in with the Jimi Hendrix style. It starts off very innocent and kind of gets stomped on a little bit. And I like the thing going on with the feedback, and I get a little bit more out of it, you know, as much as I could in the range I wanted to try to achieve. I was doing the Rolling Stones cover, I called it Fuzz Monster. It's the lead and the rhythm, the sympathy for the devil. You know, and I was saying this, and I even told Keila about this, that I didn't want to do Sympathy for the Devil and stuff anymore. As, you know, I've already done that over and over and over again. It was part of my repertoire whenever I, play my guitar, when I start doing all my scales and all that stuff, and there's Sympathy for the Devil. And I got to break out these old habits that you should always learn something new. Every day when you play your guitar is to learn something new. So I have all these books and all this stuff, and you learn something new. You know, of course, you know, I have a specific repertoire, you know, when I warm up certain scales and blues and certain patterns and things that I do. You know, and then the whole idea is to add things to that repertoire. So, but I think that's kind of cool. But, you know, it could lead to something unexpected. Who knows? You know, so, but I like the paints. You know, here I was testing out the color blotches and things like that. You know, I really wanted to see what these paints can actually do if I go and blend the paints and all that stuff. But maybe it's just like anything else, just, you know, some sort of speculation. Maybe it's just a reflection of my mind. You know, which actually really what everything actually is, what art actually is, and the way that things actually really read. When you look at Picasso's artworks, it's in silhouettes, and the silhouettes actually look, you know, as if they're, you know, doing back stretches, you know, bending backwards and looking backwards behind them, but they're just line of outside contour. And what I was told about this when I was in art school, my teacher Corny Cole, he told me this. He said that Picasso actually changed the way that we actually perceive art. You know, which is a pretty good thing. To actually change the way that we perceive art. But what you're seeing is just an external contour. The details of the specific image that I'm actually talking about is actually a female image. And I think she's actually at the beach. She actually looks like she's wearing a bathing suit, maybe even like a bathing cap. But it's just external, a contour, and a very, very quick gesture type of a drawing. You know, but it looks like she's actually twisting and looking backwards. You know, you twist. You know, my art teacher used to take, you know, you twist the hips. My art teacher used to take the eraser and twist the eraser and say, and you know, and show us the specifically bodily forms, you know, on these specific gesture and these specific details on the anatomy and drawing. So, anyways, that's what I wanted to do. I just been, you know, unpacking stuff, getting stuff set up. Pretty much stuff just went back into the box again, back into the closet. You know, they'd come by and do some inspections. My place is completely clean. I don't have any infestations, but there would be some exterminations in the building, so they come in and put in gel. They come in and take a look to inspect the fire. This is something I want to share with you. It's called Das Avatar, and this is a really cool thing. You know, these are the different avatars. So when you flip these up, you flip them down, you have the Manjaris, the avatars, the avatar symbol. See, this one here is the symbol of the swan. You have the avatars Manjari. Now this is Purushotama, Kshatriya king. He killed the demonic Kshatriyas, culture 21 generations. And you're talking about, that must be 2100 years. If a generation was 100 years, but even then, that time, in that specific yuga, mankind may have lived even longer. So then what you have here, this is fish incarnation. Let's see, Kumar is tortoise. Varuna is the ocean. I'll remember what the name of the fish incarnation is. Matsya. Matsya, the fish incarnation. There's Matsya's Manjaris. This is Vamanadev. He took the whole universe in 2 steps, and he was awarded 3 steps. So Bali Maharaj offered his head for the 3rd step. And you have Vor incarnation. Every now and then, you know, on my birthday, every few years, it's an incarnation day, and one of the days in 2009 was Vamanadev's appearance day on February 5th. And so this is really nice. I bought this when I was in India. It's called Dasa Avatar. This is made with some sort of bamboo papyrus type of panels and leaves, and they're stapled together. You know, and when I showed these, you know, and I told people, they go, you know, I had one of those. They're very, very delicate, very charming, as you can see. So, anyways, that's what's happening here. Since I got the projector, I need to get this place cleaned up. I've got my temple set up. Here we got, this is really nice thing. It's the Dalai Lama putting a garland on Srila Prabhupada. That's real nice. RBC, Dharma Maharaj sends me the books. So he sends me some nice books here. Well, anyways, I'll have to take some pictures of those, but he sends me books. This one here, he likes us all to read. This one. The Bright Side. These are Vani quotes from Srila Prabhupada, and these will cheer us up. These are nice, happy, cheery, cheer us up kind of quotes. The bright side about things. Need a little cheering up? This one here is great. It's all Srila Prabhupada's Vani quotes. It's Dhanavir Maharaj, he put all these Vani quotes together for us. So this is a real nice thing. Maharaj says, this one here, this is really nice. This is the Reservoir of Pleasure. I really like this picture. Srila Prabhupada would very seriously consider how to translate or what statements or how to arrange his purports in such a way for modern technological society of man with a poor education of real fund of Vedic knowledge to present the Srimad Bhagavatam, the cream of the essence of the Vedas, and to explain the Vedanta. But he would very seriously consider, and he would pray. So doesn't this look very thoughtful? It kind of looks like the way we kind of put our hands on our chins and kind of looked up about things. And now that I'm kind of looking at that, I was thinking about my dad. I remember when I was taking some photos, it's a real nice thing, has this journal in it, it's, very thoughtful, the thinker. Or something like that. There we go, the thinker. So anyway, Dobie Gillis would always show up on that. He'd be over there by the statue of the thinker. And he'd be telling you about, this thing here, going on him and his girlfriend and stuff. So then I've got the spiritual masters. We have this up in the temple of the paintings and everything. So there's the spiritual masters coming all the way. There's the Brahma Gaudiya Sampradaya, so it begins with Krishna and Govinda. And you have Brahma, first preceptor, when he created the universe, became enlightened by a revelation of the Gayatri Mantra, which is the Gayatri Mantra the Brahmanas chant, initiated as Brahmana priest. And then how the knowledge was passed to Narada Muni. Here what we got here. I'm on this side again, Narada Muni. And then Madhvacharya. Now these are all the heavies, all throughout, all the Vedantas literature, is that these are the authorities that properly presented the actual understanding, the knowledge and the translations and the teachings of the Vedas themselves to clarify some specific points of realization and the actual position of the original identity or the original person, the center of the universe, complete totality. As a person, there was Buddhism that took place, and then Sankaracharya came along, and he was specifically instructed by Krishna to present the Vedic literature in a specific way, and it's actually really quite effective. But to go one step further from maybe, let's say, a half-truth or a partial truth to complete truth within a Chitta Beta Beta Tattva, simultaneously oneness within diversity, is, that all of the elements in substance as being a one Sat Chit Ananda substance, a substance of eternity, knowledge, and bliss, that what we actually really are, instead of flesh, blood, and bones, that we are forever knowledgeable eternally. And that's our substance of our actual real identity. And basically this was confirmed. I'm saying, okay, eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Eternity is forever. No beginning and no end. Okay. It's a different concept from the material concept. The material universe becomes visible or manifest and becomes unmanifest, in which it is no longer visible, and then again within cycles becomes manifest, and then there's no particular point in time where this ever happened for the first time. And it's a continual cycle that continues for eternity. And then beyond that is an eternal spiritual realm in which there are worlds and universes which are not subject to destruction, which eternally exist. So this was confirmed, that I'm saying eternity, that's forever. Knowledgeable, Sat Chit Ananda, eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Cognizance, consciousness, is what we're actually really referring to. Full knowledge of the Vedanta, your relationship with the totality, You know, as being the complete totality and being in association with this specific complete unlimited being. You know, so that we in ourselves can never, how do you say, achieve a position such as that is completely unique to this individual, and that we're his manifestations. And so this is what was confirmed. I'm saying now, we're talking about Satchidananda, eternity, knowledge, bliss, that we are a spiritual form forever, no beginning and no end, with full consciousness or full cognizance, full knowledge and understanding, realization. Eternity is bliss, eternity, knowledge, and bliss, happily ever after. Live happily ever after. Forever happy. By nature, we're Nandamaya. That Nandamaya means pleasure seeking. And all of the forms and species within their culture, this is what we're all doing. Every species, every insect, you know, all of us, everything. We're looking for satisfaction. There are specific needs and wants and specific desirable things and priorities. But what we want, you know, you know, if you get hungry, you have to eat. You know, you should learn how to cook. You know, which is a given. We need to learn how to do these things and interact within this world. And the spiritual master is always expert, and he's the one who trains us to do all these things. You know, proper rest, proper maintenance, proper health. You know, there's two sciences of medicine, and this was coming out of the golden period of Greece. One was preventative medicine, and the other one was treat them when they get sick. So basically right now we've got the one that says treat them when they get sick, and even then what you do, you get a whole bunch of stuff that just keeps you sick. And then causes more complications, and it kind of keeps coming back for repeat customer and customer delight, and how you have no idea they're actually poisoning you. So that's the actual aspect now of preventative medicine, and that's what they're saying right now. You know, you go in there, you have medication damage, you go in there, you have Morgan Allen's disease from chemtrails, you go in there, you have radiation sickness. These things are not being treated. In fact, they want to know what makes you think that you have radiation sickness. What makes you think something's coming out of the sky that's making you sick? What makes you think GMOs? What makes you think the medication damaged you, has harmed you? You know, these things are not being treated. You know, whether they get another psychotropic drug, go on another trip for a while. You know, who knows when they're going to come down off this stuff. You know, it kind of just seems like I start having some hot flashes. Maybe it's just my male menopause. I hope that's all it is, just male menopause. I'm not freaky. Nothing, you know, nothing's like, you know, whoa, or anything like that. But it might seem a little freaky when I'm talking about, like, you know, complete totality, the center of the universe. You know, it's all one. In diversity. Don't you see it? Don't you see it, man? Well, that's the thing. Is that many people don't want to be helped. And we just have to just let that go. How can we, you know, well, we have a concern for everyone and everyone in the world and the universe, and we just hope the best for everyone. You know, but the thing is that you just have to just wait until someone comes along and asks you for advice. You know, and the thing is, I'm always giving advice. This is what I do. 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 I'm kind of hoping maybe to influence someone. I made something that's really cool. I'm going to make some really good stuff today. It's going to be okra and yogurt and cauliflower pakoras. And I'll post the recipes. One's the spicy crunchy pakora recipe, and then there's like 2 different recipes that I have for the okra. So I like both recipes, and I like to put the spices in there and everything too. So this is what we're doing here. This was originally the what I made for Tulsi. And so we have the light. So what this is going to be? This is going to be the new temple. Get some light on here. Okay. Yeah. So This is going to be the new temple. This is what I had was the Tulsi garden. And I had that set up. So I have the lights for it and everything, so we can set up the lights. I can get some little small Christmas lights on there for festivals. I think this is the back end of it. So this is going to be the new temple. I'm going to be using the table here. I'm going to be using my sadhana table, my temple table here, out in the front now. And all of these things will be transferred into here. Then this will be the new temple, and so I still need to do some more construction on that. But this is my temple room in here. This has been the sacred area where I cook and offer my food. This is the picture from India. Now this was Savas in Los Angeles, the temple president. We were discussing some prospects of being recommended for Brahminical worship, Brahminical initiation back in 1981 when I was in Denver. Rameswara Maharaj was the initiating spiritual master at the time. Now he lives in New Vrindavan. And I've heard he's very sincere and that he's a nice devotee. And that when the Sankirtan devotees go to New Vrindavan, is that they're associating with Rameswara, is that Dagru Maharaj has asked Rameswara to conduct some classes, or some Ishtagoshi, so there's some sort of personal interaction or spiritual professional interaction, and I'm glad that these things have materialized. I didn't take Brahminical initiation at that time, but I took a Brahminical initiation on John Mastami, the appearance day of Lord Krishna, in September of 2010. And then I went to India February, March 2011, and that was what I always desired to, that when I did go to India, that I would go as a Brahmin. So this was the picture here, Pushpa Vinaya. That's what Savas was explaining to me. Pushpa, the flower, Pushpa Vinaya. He was instructing me on the mantras of the Brahminical Gayatri mantra. Basically, it's confidential. We don't actually really discuss these things. Although Madhvacharya really pleased this spiritual master really very much, that he was awarded or given a very special secret mantra, and he was instructed that anyone who reveals this mantra without specific authority is a heavy karmic reaction. But if you chant this mantra, you'll be liberated beyond liberation, or whatever, beyond to the complete totality where everything goes. So where everything goes. So there we go. Pushpa Vinaya. He's holding the flute. The descriptions are that to behold the beautiful form of Sri Krishna Govardhan, Kamadevaya. Kamadev is Cupid. So the Cupid-like Supreme Personality of Godhead, in which Cupid is his, how do you explain what Cupid actually is? The God of love. This whole idea about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the most confidential information, the actual accumulation of the actual studies of your Vedanta and meditation is to experience love of God. So that's where you have the Kamadevaya, is that Krishna is the original Cupid. Is and the manifestation of Cupid in the material world as being his servant. Cupid within the Srimad Bhagavatam is spiritual in the heavenly planetary systems, causes havoc. He points his arrows at the sadhakas who are practicing austerity, the bhaktas, the devotees, the yogis, the mystica chief. He sends them those heavenly planet society girls to enjoy in the heavenly planets. And it really causes havoc. Like, what are they talking about? Like the eyebrow as being the bow. the bow that shoots the arrow of love into the pangs of the heart, in which one becomes absolutely enamored and complete infatuation regarding their object of affection. So, just explain. Oh yeah, the eyebrows of a woman. Shooting the arrows of lust into the heart of the... So anyways, there's some descriptions there in the Srimad Bhagavatam about this. But what happened was when I saw this picture, I go, oh, that's that picture. Even when I talked to Shabas and everything, I'm going, this picture has very high significance to me. That this is my favorite picture of Krishna. Of all the different pictures of Krishna that I always got, that I always liked really a lot, this one here, I mean, it is the cream of the crop. And so I saw some of these, and the gift shop wasn't open in Mayapur, and I asked them about it. The gift shop wasn't open. He told me to come back later. The gift shop was either I wasn't at the right place, because I guess this was upstairs, the actual real gift shops and everything were downstairs, so I think those were more the administrative offices, and these were actually weren't for sale. But now when we went to Raman Reddy, where there's this play park where Krishna and Balaram used to play in the sand, and this sand does not harm your eyes. It's very, 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 very soft, silky type of sand. You can get it in your eyes. It doesn't hurt your eyes. It doesn't make you tear. It does. You can roll around in it. This is where Krishna and Balaram used to play. This is their playground in Raman Reddy. So on our way there on Parikram, we chant our japa and have kirtan, finish our rounds, our morning rounds. And there was a gift shop booth, and usually the gift shops have a variety of different types of items. They have different types of forms of pictures of Krishna, or Krishna's devotees like Narada Muni or Brahma. They usually have tilak, different devotional items, conch shells, ghee lamps, camphor. But this gift shop only had, they had a lot of stuff. I mean, they were all lined up. I mean, his gift shop was full. He had a fully stocked gift shop, but he only had one item. That was this item. This item right here. The whole store, the whole gift shop only had one thing in it. And that was this picture. I said, that's it. That's the one. I've been looking for this everywhere. I go, how can you have so many? You don't have anything else? I go, how much are they? And I thanked them very much. I thought that was absolutely great. So anyways, I guess things are materializing. Things are coming together. I like the way, basically the whole idea was everything all just went back in the box again, or I went back in the closet again. I pulled it out, I got it cleaned up. So now it looks like I pretty much have stuff set up, and I have stuff set up in the closet where I can either pull it out real easy or just use it while it's in the closet. It's not like I'm limited on space, but I made a lot of space. And the whole idea about the projector and being able to have this area cleared out and to do some larger pieces of art that I really wanted to do. From what I saw, but these were very famous artists. I think it was actually really Robert Williams. But these were actually pretty big. They were at least 6 feet tall, by at least 4 or 5 feet wide. And you have more room and more, for your elements. You can paint more stuff in there, or paint bigger or larger, paint smaller. But there's a lot of things in that. These were selling for, this was Robert Williams, so that was a lot of money. But I think that for myself, is for someone just breaking into the industry, what would you say? I'm rubbing elbows with the professionals. I got my foot in the door. I guess that's what we'd actually say. I'm rubbing elbows. I got my foot in the door. My calling card. I'm introducing myself. As an artist. And so and this is my work, and this is what I'm all about. So, but they'll sell for a lot more. I think a minimum $3,000 for something that works. One of that size. There's going to be some glaze. You put some glaze on it. It's a process. It gets finished. Definitely gets framed. So I do have a little bit of a capital to work on things. I have to go get some frames for the artwork and stuff that I have now. They didn't cost very much. No. And that's what I keep saying. I'm buying this. I'm buying that. It didn't cost that much. I got a deal on this. I got a deal on that. And then all of a sudden you're going to say, well, Roger, what happened with this, that, and the other thing? It didn't cost so much. Now you don't have any money. Now you don't have a place to live, and you still don't have a job. So I just want to, be conscientious about that. That I am aware of that. That we have. In the past, dealt with some specific individuals that kind of thought they were just going to go live in their car, and they just gave up their place. They didn't need to. They weren't being evicted. They just thought they were going to go out and adventure, that this was going to work better, and different things. But you can't live in the car. You can't live in the park and do your artwork. You just don't have the time. You don't have the facilities. You don't have the space. And I was living in the motel rooms and living with people and renting rooms and stuff like that. But I really like having my own place, having a motel room. When I was at Home Depot, the whole idea was to save my money, get my apartment and everything. So then I was at the Gilbert, then I was at Mark Twain, and then I was over at Peters, then I was back over at Studio Lodge, and during the whole time my stuff was in my storage locker, and this was pretty much like my base. Go drop stuff off that I don't need, that I needed to use, like drop off my guitar, go drop off my computer equipment, go drop off my art supplies, go pick up my art supplies, go pick up my computer equipment, go pick up my musical instruments, and take it back. My change of clothes, I have enough clothes for a few weeks, for a month, do the laundry, switch those things out. Then I have another important thing to come up, so I grab my storage locker to grab more professional type clothing that I would need. So that was pretty much my base, my storage locker. So that really worked out. And it was kind of like in the middle of where I would go, where I was staying, in downtown or Hollywood. It was on my way to work when I worked at Home Depot, so I was just saving my money to get first and last for an apartment. The Studio Lodge wasn't bad. The rent was just a little bit more than what I'm paying now. But you don't, they did have cable TV, but if you want a telephone, that telephone service was very, very expensive. And if you want internet, you have to get the telephone service, which was very expensive. And then what they're charging you for the internet dial-up access, which is really pretty much expensive too. So the whole idea is be able to get my own place, be able to manage my own utilities, my own bills. Not having to subscribe or to rent these services as well. That gets very expensive. It's very limited space. But what I was doing, that's where I did the Totally Ballistic Clowns. When I was doing the artwork, the paintings that I started, the canvases that I bought some canvas material, and I got brushes and pulled out my paints and started doing some paints and kind of just going beyond the scope of the colored pencil drawings that I had been doing, and then developed the Red Velvet Rockstars and the Blue Velvet Nudes that came out pretty good. And in fact, I gave one of these to the lady at she was like the door lady at Club Hell. It was her birthday, and she wanted one of the Blue Velvets, and I was actually really very honored, and I'm saying, what, this is like totally cool. You and your boyfriend treat me really nicely. I really appreciate your camaraderie and the things that you have done for me, which they actually really had done a lot for me and things. They're very nice. And I said, absolutely, which one do you want? Which one would you like? So I was actually, I was actually really very honored, and she told me, I always liked these ever since I ever saw them. I'm going, really? Well, that's like kind of cool, because I know when I brought them in, I did get a positive reaction, so that was really cool on that. So yeah, I guess it's like 44 minutes and 18 seconds, 19 seconds. I can't actually say we'll cut this short, but I think I really covered a lot of material. I'm going to be working on the videos. Now, I can take all the art videos. I did the photo shoots of an interview with Robert Williams and the art tour at Barnsdale Park and the Artist Speaks, which was a Robert Williams book signing. So I did the videos for those. You know, so I have a variety of art videos. The Electric Lady video. So, you know, all my art videos, my JPEGs of the artwork, the Totally Ballistic Clowns, the Red Velvet Rock Stars, the lined art. You know, so I can, you know, put all those on there too. You know, as video all together as a slideshow presentation. I bring my little, one of the little sets of speakers I can bring. They're totally portable. I don't have to have that big giant boom box. They work standalone. You know, just little tiny little things. They're not too loud. You know, just in a little corner, a little multimedia presentation. So that is the whole thing. That is the guiding force and the inspiration behind all of the work that I'm currently involved in, the specific organization and structure and all of that on this stuff. So let's say one more last darshan of the Festival of the Eyes of Kamadeva. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll end it there with the last days of this video on the Festival of the Eyes. Look at that crown. Peacock feather. That's his description. His crown is peacock feather. Very, very soft tone. Now you see why he's so popular amongst the young girls. They're always thinking about him, always making things for him, fashioning his clothes, making jewels for his crowns, and making his garlands. Okay, guys.